Pickle, episode 29. We're talking about foreign substances in the college game. We're talking about walk-off, no doubles defense. We're talking about swings and misses versus ground balls. We've got JD Martinez coming back from a bad season. And is it poor sportsmanship to win by 33 runs? Check it out. Pickle. Episode 29. What are we at? We're getting deep into these. How you doing today, Chris?
I'm doing, Bobby. How are you doing?
Doing well. The reason I didn't look it up is I had to remove Dropbox stuff from my computer because we had so many videos that my computer's terabyte is full of Dropbox video. So I don't look it up every time anymore. So sorry about that.
I think if we just say episode next.
We can have Patrick put in like the horn, the bow, 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 and then like put the number in there.
Yeah.
That might be good. Patrick likes that one. Producer Patrick's in the room today. He's over there.
He's distant.
Joining us, getting some warm weather down here in Texas. So that's good. Gonna be doing a lot of work, a lot of videos with him. Pretty excited about that. Ready to jump into topics? All right, let's go. Gonzaga pitcher ejected using foreign substance. He struck out 11 guys. They were against, I believe, TCU, I believe. TCU was losing 11-1. It was 4 2/3 innings. I got some background on this. Or sorry, Dallas Baptist. Sorry, TCU. Dallas Baptist. Apologize to TCU. So he's 4 2/3 mowing them down. They're up 11-1, and they call the umpires out and gets ejected. I'll let you talk about it, and then I'll give you my inside scoop.
My favorite part of this whole thing, if anybody goes and watches this video, my favorite part is, and you alluded to this on Twitter, that it was 11-1 when it happened. So, like, what were you doing the first 4 1/3 innings, I guess? But my favorite part was after the dugout reaction was, first of all, he didn't know what to do when he got ejected, because college players never know what to do when they get ejected because they've never been ejected before. So he comes off the field, and he came in the dugout, and he, like, slammed his glove and helmet up against the wall. And I was like, bro, you got caught with your hand in the cookie jar. Like, you can't slam your glove and hat. But be thankful that you got 4 2/3 of 1-run baseball in, so your ERA is probably going down. Even though you're not going to get the win, like, it's all part of it, man. So that was my favorite part, was the glove slam and hat slam.
Yeah, the hat spike was good. The hat spike for cheating. Like, he's mad that he got caught.
No, but it was so asinine because, like, everything about it was ludicrous, right? It's 11-1. You know, game's probably out of reach at this point. Kids cruising. And now you decide, like, hey, let's go check the ball and his glove. And I mean,
so I got my inside scoop, so keep going.
It's so ridiculous. Like, somebody probably on defense used the same ball that he was pitching. Like,
nope.
Keep going. You tell me that.
The Donald Trump meme. Wrong. That was used in a text this weekend, so I group text. So here's the deal. Inside scoop. A friend I know knows of one of the coaches there. So this kid was cheating, and it was so belligerently obvious that he was cheating that they had it, like, immediately. Every single time he was touching his glove, touching his hat, like, he was just obvious.
Right.
The balls were coming back to the dugout like they were poop smeared. Like, it was so painfully obvious that he was cheating and doing this. And I would say that this is use of foreign substance is now just normal. It's happening. It's happening at the professional level. It's happening at the college level. Like, this is just a reality of the game right now. So in general, I think people are going to let it slide as long as you've got some manners about it. Like, just don't be obvious. Like, you're going to do it, like, just wipe your leg or something. You just can't rub it in people's faces. So basically what happened was they were getting lit up. Pretty sure this is the number one, just like the ace. And they just let it go until he was burned, and they just put the game under protest. So they're not going to get the loss. They just like, all right, you're going to cheat. Like, if you're going to cheat, we're getting rocked. So our strategy is going to be like, we're going to wait until you've used all your bullets up. You're not going to be able to pitch the rest of the weekend. and then we're gonna get you tossed out of the game, and then this game's gonna be in a protest. So it's like basically like hit the reset button.
That seems like a lot of work. It seems like a lot of
Well,
work.
my follow-up tweet was like, I get it. It's like I got my insider info. I understand the strategy. If I was in the dugout, I might have done the same thing. But at the same time, like, what the hell happened to this game? Like, we're now creating strategies around players cheating to minimize losses. It just like we're not even playing baseball.
Yeah, that's the epitome of like I'm rooting for a forfeit. You know what I mean? I'm rooting for somebody to forfeit so that I can get the win. I played a basketball game this weekend, and I had to take the win because a player on the other team.
We're talking about a game against children, right?
Like
Like 14
I
year
mean, it
olds.
was a mix. It was a mixed bag. Like it was a mixed bag.
You played basketball against children.
No, I mean,
are they in high school yet?
There was somebody older than me in the game.
Okay, so the father of the children.
Yeah, like I mean, why are we prefacing by who was in the game?
Doesn't matter. Like you're like, oh,
are you going to listen or are you going to just keep saying words?
Go ahead. I just want context. We're big. Pelotero's big on context.
All right, so it happened to be a basketball game against
children.
People. No, so you had the two old guys and the really, really young guy on my team. So okay, and then
G Money. G Money.
Yeah, and then the three like growing, like hitting adolescence, adulthoods on the other team. And I'm not gonna lie to you, they're pretty good. Like one of them especially. So it just so happened that in order for us to win, basically, like the only way we could win is if I like take over the game underneath. And it's like brutal to play 3-on-3 and have to take all the shots. And you know, I'm like big boy.
You love it.
No, I hate it.
Stop
like
it.
I have to try to big boy 15-year-olds, and my back feels like I have a katana sword sticking through it. So like if I make one wrong move, you know, I twist and then I'm like stuck for like a good 5 minutes, whatever. So anyway, there just happened to be like a flying arm on a rebound and hit the one player with the braces on. And it, you know, when you have braces, you get the cut. So it was the first game out of 5 that my team was actually winning. And we ended up getting a forfeit win because they pulled the chute. And I didn't like it. I didn't like the forfeit win. I felt like I really was like.
So you punched a kid to get a win?
It's not what I said out loud, but if that's how you want to interpret it, then yeah, be my guess.
Well, yeah, no, it's wild. Just don't use substances, or like just say, yeah, we're going to use it. Just pick us. Like you're not going to be able to police this.
So yeah, did you watch Bauer's stuff on Momentum at all? So
be more specific. I've watched.
He was doing the thing where he went to buy that like really high end car. What's it called? A karate stand or karate kicker? What's that really nice sports car?
Bugatti?
No, it's better than that. It's like with a K. Anyway, so he was doing this thing where he was out buying cars. He was shopping. He ended up putting a down payment on this car with a K and a McLaren or whatever. And on his way there,
he already had a McLaren.
Yeah, but he totaled it. He had to get a new one. So anyway, he was talking about Rajay Davis had just called him. Rajay is now working for Major League Baseball. And I guess and Trevor said this out loud, I guess their whole conversation was about Rajay's like on this committee now of like foreign substances with pitchers and figuring out how players really feel about it and what needs to happen. Again, it's so much hypocrisy, I guess, because
it's in the rule book.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like you're just picking and choosing what rules you're going to follow, right? So, hey, let's punish the Astros and their coaching staff for a rule that's not in the rule book, but let's not punish people for a rule that is in the rule book. And, you know, people are always saying it's not cheating if you don't get caught. I mean, abundantly clear that like probably 65 to 70% plus of pitchers in the major leagues are using a substance on their fingers. I was notorious for having to bring a pine tar rag to pitchers that I played with or stick. I watched other pitchers go through the process of literally shaving their non-throwing forearm, and they would then go suntan lotion. They would have suntan lotion, rosin, more suntan lotion, sticky spray, and by the time you knew it, if you like grabbed their arm, your hand would literally get stuck on it. And then, like you said, you could always see the hat, glove, belt, whatever pants thing that pitchers do. I mean, it's so obvious, but people are just picking and choosing when they want to look for it. Like the thing that I get upset about is why does it take the coach on the other team saying something about it for an umpire to acknowledge it? Obviously, that's coming from above, where the league's saying, hey, don't police this unless somebody asks about it. You know what I mean? And to your point, be less obvious, I guess. Like, basically, don't be an idiot should be the rule, as it should be in most things. But at the same time, if you're fundamentally affecting the way guys spin the ball and like their capabilities of being a pitcher, it's a significant performance enhancer, isn't it?
I go back, like, what is performance enhancing? So, like, on the call, somebody who literally didn't take anything and got suspended for something that nobody knows anything about, that could be just environmental, could be naturally produced in the body. Like, they literally don't know anything about it, and you get suspended for that. Yet guys are doing things blatantly against the rules. Putting a foreign substance on the ball to increase spin rate by like 200, 300 RPM on a fastball, like, you're creating an unnatural performance. Isn't that the whole point of like fair competition committee and like fair, like, it's just so annoying and frustrating and hypocritical.
The hardest part for me is like there's these stigmas in the world that exist about certain things, and they're completely unfounded, right? Like, completely unfounded. So you perceive certain things to be a certain way. Case in point would be the Astros and sign stealing. Like, it's hysterical. This happened in the last 3 days. I was talking about Bregman and like his one of his BP videos when like he's sitting in the cage and he's like working really steep down, like very Bregman-y in the swings. And somebody's like, yeah, well, it's really easy to hit when you know what's coming. And I turned around to him. I was like, I knew what was coming 85% of the time in the major leagues. Like, literally 85% of the time. Like, there's no rule against stealing signs because teams in college. I watched Duke play BC this weekend. Duke has all their players with wristbands, so the pitchers look like quarterbacks. They got their whole sign, and they got somebody doing a flip book in the dugout to call the signs out. I'm like, what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just tell the other team what's coming. Like, let's compete here, guys. Like, if you're the pitcher and you tell the guy that you're throwing a curveball, like, if you make your pitch, you're still going to win.
Like, with certain plays, it's like, if a bunt surprises you, you got a problem. If a hit and runs, if you're like truly shocked that a guy, like if there's a runner on first and it's a 1-0 count, they might hit and run. Like, there's a possibility, like, middle infielders maybe talk to each other and be like, hey, maybe we switch it up right here. Is it like the number 2 hitter with the leadoff guy on? Is it like a guy at the bottom of the order with speed and you're trying to turn it over? Like, just know the situation of the game. And then when it comes to actual pitches, you should still have a pretty decent feel of what the guy's going to throw.
If you have feel. I was joking with
you know how to play the game.
I was joking with a couple of my college coach friends that if I ever got on a staff with them, that I should coach second instead of coaching first, and like stand behind second base, just because all we're gonna do is hit doubles, guys. Like, we're not hitting any singles. And when I'm coaching second, I'm just gonna stay back there. And when you hit a single, I'm just gonna be like, hey, steal second. Is that good? Can we do that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because there's yeah. That would be funny.
Segue? Is that a good segue?
Media too. You could take a camera out there and capture media at the same time
with a selfie stick. That's perfect. That'll bring more followers to the game.
We'll do a dual role. We'll put that on your business card. Second base coach, not the first base or third base coach.
Perfect.
Second base coach. That's great. New segment. The Situation Room. Baseball's back. Exciting times. We get to talk about actual gameplay situations. Hopefully educate, discuss scenarios, plant seeds. Let's talk about the game. Like, the game's awesome. We're not talking about foreign substances on balls right now and committees to determine whether people think it's fair. We're talking about baseball, the game.
So you're trying to be Iverson-y?
Yeah, I was trying to. So Oklahoma State is playing a team. They're playing Illinois State.
They're playing someone. 9th
inning. I mean, Oklahoma State's top ranked 20 at the moment, was ranked 20th in the country. Illinois State not ranked in the top 20. I would imagine this would be a very big win for the program. It's 2-2 in the 9th. Runner on first. I didn't check the box score to see who the runner was, but the runner was in motion. Lefty batter up. Line drive up the middle. Towards right center a little bit. Runner from first scores, standing up. The outfielder in center field, I think he was in the third row.
Was playing at the wall.
Was
he was at least at the edge of the warning track.
Like at a certain point, you got to let the other guy beat us because he hit the ball over the fence. Like, what is this was painful to watch. When the thing I thought was going to happen, my first view of this clip, I was like, please don't throw it to third. Please don't throw it to third. Cause I thought he was like, the runner was moving and I'm like, oh God, he's going to throw it to third. This is the worst baseball play ever. And then he threw it home and then nobody cut it and it bounced high off the front side of the mound and run scores, victory, airplane.
Victory!
Let's talk about no doubles defense, shall we? If in no doubles defense, like if the guy hits it over your head and it's a homer and you can't take, like you should still have to be like run backwards to stop a homer.
I hate no doubles defense. I'm gonna tell you why.
I don't mind playing give him like 5 steps, give him a couple steps.
We're gonna talk about this. Do you realize that for every step back you take as an outfielder toward the wall, you're widening the gap between you and the corner outfielder, right? Like, so if you're the center fielder, for every step back, now we're widening that gap. And then we make the argument, okay, well, we're going to play the infielders on the lines. Again, like the number of balls, the percentage of balls that have a chance to get hit in those places that would affect the game in that way, in that moment in time, are so minuscule that I guarantee you, and the thing that bothers me is that there's no like analytic on this, and which is crazy to me. Just play baseball. Like, just play baseball. If the guy's going to have to hit a ball 110 over your head to literally hit a ball that'll score the runner in that situation. And realistically speaking, if he hits that ball and he just happens to line up to you in center field, like, then you're probably not going to win anyway because the next guy's probably going to hit 111. So, I mean, no doubles defense conceptually, like the outfielders should create a tick more depth and maybe get your corner infielders a tick more to the line. The problem in college baseball is like they hear no doubles and literally that guy's playing, like, as you said, the third row. And then the infielder is like straddling the foul line. Like, that's not the point, guys. Like, all we're trying to do is minimize the opportunity of that play to happen. Now, again, this is a runner in motion situation, which changes the dynamic of it a little bit. I'll never forget this. We had won 11 in a row, right? We won 11 in a row twice in 2015. And we were in a tie game at the Mets. We were about to beat Syndergaard, I think it was the first day. We had just scored in extra innings to go up 3-2. We get the first out. Somebody gets walk. Michael Kadire hits into a force out at second. So it's 2 outs, runner on first base. Michael Kadire on first. We're not talking about Billy Hamilton, right? And, Citi Field's decently large. And I remember Lucas Duda came out to bat, and Ezekiel Carrero was playing, like, at the left center field wall. Duda hit a pop-up a mile high behind third base, and Michael Kadire scored from first, not moving on the pitch.
I remember that play.
And it ended up costing us our winning streak because, like, if we're just playing straight up, like, he catches that ball, he basket catches it, and the game's over. So,
how many outs were there on that play?
2. It's 2 outs. It's so easy to play Monday quarterback.
You can't go no doubles on it.
But it's so easy to play Monday quarterback. But it's the whole guys like shifts, guys don't like shifts. Like for 100 years, you play straight up. I agree at the fact that you should shift if you don't think a hitter's capable of hitting the ball the other way, because hitters should be better. But the no doubles thing gets extreme because you can't predict how that ball's going to get hit. And case in point, this guy hit a ground ball up the middle and it ended the game, right? Like, it ended the game. He hit a single to center field. And it
was a line drive up the middle. And yeah. I mean, it's a painful way to lose a game. They're gonna be telling stories about that in the Illinois State program for a long time.
A painful way to lose a game is Eric Hosmer hits a looping line drive down the right field line. Your right fielder throws it into second base, which is probably the right play at that time to stop him from getting a double. But then Lorenzo Cain runs through the stop sign. It's a painful way to lose any game, but Game 6 of the ALCS, even more painful. But what I will say in the Blue Jays' defense in that moment, if he doesn't throw the ball to second, throwing the second is the right play there. But great job by the third base coach. Anytime that ball goes into second base, I think coaches should always wave that runner around if he can run a little bit, because it's incredibly difficult, for the middle infielder to take that throw and be aware enough, like, to turn and throw and make a good throw home, number one. But if we don't throw that ball to second, they have second and third, nobody out in that situation. So there's actually probably a higher likelihood of them scoring 2 runs than just the 1, which they ended up getting 1. It's like, should you concede a run in that spot, like, versus playing second and third, nobody out? Because if not, you got to go punch out, walk, double play, right?
Who was on the mound? Asuna?
Yeah, it must have been Osuna. I don't remember.
Without knowing who's coming up in the lineup. And
Hosmer hit the ball, so Morales was up next. And then behind him was like Alex Rios. No, Moustakas, then Alex Rios. Doesn't matter. But anyway.
yeah.
Baseball's a funny game,
you
man.
look at matchups. If you can get, it's tough in the moment for the right fielder to be like, oh, can my pitcher strike out the next two guys while there's a guy like trying to get to second base? This is where like baseball's a very fast game when the ball's in play.
A super slow, fast game. Yeah.
Yeah. In moments, the game is incredibly fast. And anybody that says the game is slow, to me, they don't understand the game. They don't understand what is happening. I've seen this happen once with the runner scoring from first. Ozzie Santana, my sophomore year of high school at Trinity. I had like a weird baseball photographic memory. Ozzie Santana scored from first, fast kid alive. And then the other weird one I've seen, Jeff Berry, my center fielder in college, scored on a deep fly ball to center field from second base. The double sack fly. Have you ever seen one of those?
Yeah.
I was on third. Jeff Berry was on second. Barry Chamberlain hit a ball. It was like 4:15 into the corner in like center field, and Jeff Berry scored from second base, and it was awesome.
Nice.
Double sack fly. You get 2 RBIs for that, right? You have to.
You do. It's a two steak night.
Two RBI sack fly. Amazing. Listeners, like and comment below if that's ever happened to you. We need to do more triggers for that for people that participate. If you're on YouTube, can you comment on podcasts on Apple? Who knows? Let us know if you've ever done that. Patrick's saying no. He's shaking his head no. But if you're on YouTube and you've ever seen somebody double steak sack fly, let us know. That's a fun one.
Like, comment, share.
Or just tell us, like, tweet us and let us know if you've had any weird base running things that you want to talk about. Because we like talking about baseball, not about steroids and sticky stuff on baseballs. It's way more fun. Next topic, Reds pitching coach. Quote, I'd rather have a swing and miss than a ground ball. Thoughts?
Knowing the Reds pitching coach a little bit, I think the context here is I don't think there's any pitcher in the world that would, or pitching coach in the world that wouldn't tell you that he would take 27 ground ball outs in a game in 37 pitches and be the happiest guy in the world. But I think I don't know the context of the quote, obviously, but I think what he's saying is the ability to get a swing and miss establishes that your stuff is playing significantly better. Like if you're giving up too many ground balls versus getting swings and misses, like your stuff's not playing up, right? Is that fair? Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, my read on it is a ground ball can hurt you, a swing and miss can't. Like a ground ball can end up in a base runner. A swing and miss, unless it's a strike 3 that's dropped, a swing and miss is not going to result in a base runner.
Yeah. So
the whole pitcher's jobs are to minimize how many runs are scored. So if you never get a guy on base, you can't score runs.
The hard part is, you can't, and this is why the game's changing so much. Like you can't throw a complete game and strike everybody out. It just can't happen. You throw too many pitches. Day and age says don't throw more than 110. Probably 110 is the threshold. Maybe 120, like later in the season, depending on the guy.
Do we know the record for? We know 20 is the strikeout record for a starter. Do we know the number of most strikeouts in a 9-inning game?
I mean,
all search results are coming back for single game starters.
So we're talking about, you got Mark. It was Kerry Wood that struck out 20, right? And then Roger Clemens struck out 20.
Clemens.
There are a couple guys that struck out 19, a couple guys that struck out 18. I know Clemens was a complete game. Kerry Wood was a complete game. But what I'd be curious to know is number of pitches thrown in those outings, right? And so you have two different guys. Roger Clemens pitched till he was 114. Kerry Wood, like, career derailed after being one of the most promising young pitchers in the game, right? So you can make the argument both ways. Now, what I'll say about Kerry Wood is he threw an abundance of sliders, right, which were like his devastating pitch. So does that affect a guy's arm versus Roger Clemens, who was more of a traditional four-seam, slow breaker, and then he developed a split finger later on in his career. But he was a guy that threw hard early on in his career and just continued to try to throw hard. Kerry Wood had that like lower arm slot. I want to know number of pitches thrown in those starts.
So what I'm seeing right now is the most strikeouts in a 9 inning game. It doesn't say by a single. It just says like in a 9 inning game is 20, which surprises me. I thought there might be situations where there's more than 20, especially more recently where there's like the relievers coming in just trying to throw a billion. Most strikeouts in a 9 inning game for both teams in the American League is 31 and the National League is 35. And then most consecutive strikeouts, 7 in the American League and 9 in the National League. So we got that going for us. But I don't know the total number of pitches.
I hate strikeouts, so I don't even like talking about them. They make me miserable.
Yeah. And they're so normal in today's game. They're just like it's just part of the game now.
I hate strikeouts. Hate it.
Yep. It's part of it's just the way the game is trended. Next topic, JD Martinez. There's an article in I believe it's a Providence Journal. Yeah, Providence Journal about his bad year last year, I guess. Had a bad year, how he's coming back from it. There's a quote in there by Alex Cora that I wanted to point out and get your thoughts on. He said, "We still believe in this guy. He still has the ability to do damage. He is not one of my biggest worries. He wasn't in sync last year." If a coach said that about you, what would you think?
I mean, I feel happy, pretty good that he, that he had my back, and I mean, that seems like a pretty normal thing for Cora to say from my point of view. Like, I just like knowing what Alex Cora is and what he stands for. Yeah, I mean, it makes complete sense to me that he said that, and I would feel confident that, he knew it was an aberration versus, who I am.
Would you feel different if he said, so he said, we still believe in this guy. He still has the ability to do damage. He's not one of my biggest worries. If he said, this guy rakes, we believe in him. We trust his preparation, and he's going to do damage this year. The whole, we still have belief in him. We still, he's not one of my biggest worries. It's like, I feel like if I'm the man, I don't know if that's like a press thing versus like an internal conversation in the clubhouse where, like, you're my guy. I trust you. You're going to smash. Just be yourself. Just go get him. Is that message different to you? Or is it, am I reading into it too much?
I mean, look, yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. I would say it's kind of semantics, right? And fundamentally, we're just going to try to read between the lines. And this is, I think, part of, I guess, the problem I have with the world nowadays. Like, let's pump the brakes on reading between the lines a little bit and saying, I certainly get your context and what you're trying to say. Personally, like, I wouldn't feel any different about it, but I could see how somebody else would. For a manager to say, like, this guy's still capable of doing damage, like, he's not one of my biggest worries. That, to me, and I think that's kind of what Cora's personality is more like, as opposed to being the outward, loud, whatever. Like, if it was, I would say Aaron Boone would probably be more likely to go, like, this guy rakes. You know what I mean?
Well, what about like Pedroia? What about Pedroia with the whole laser show?
Yeah,
that's a very different message than saying he's not one of my biggest worries. For that versus what happened, relax, laser show.
Yeah.
To me, it's a very different message when you compare the two, anyway.
Yeah. I could see how you'd think that, but I don't know that I would interpret it differently as a player, but I'm too easygoing, I guess.
Okay. Fair point. What about just the whole mindset of coming back from a down year? So also in the article, it talked about how how COVID affected. Replay didn't have that. No iPad in the dugout type stuff. It seems like he's such a regimented, routine-based player. If you take away the things that he feels like he needs to perform, I could make a comment about over reliance on technology in game. Who's got the Amish rule in baseball? Who talks about that? Which one of our friends says that?
The
They want
Amish.
Amish. Yeah, they want Amish rules. Once the first pitch happens, go Amish style. Just remove all tech.
Probably Cam. I don't know.
Who said that? That's gonna bother me. Amish rules. So like
Listen,
game starts, get the tech out.
you think about it, right? You think about it, and I'll say my piece here. I certainly understand why JD Martinez could have potentially had a tough year last year and why it wouldn't necessarily represent the type of player he is. JD Martinez cares very deeply about playing a game of baseball. I said this when he signed his multi-year deal. Like, I wouldn't have a problem giving that guy double that because everything he does is going to be vested in his success. Now, here's the biggest issue, right? And I think this is something we, as a society, have a tendency not to understand. So the whole premise is like, let me put in all the work so that I don't have a reason why I can't have a reason why it didn't go well, if that makes any sense. Like, so a lot of people do work and like prepare in fear that they won't be ready for the moment, right? Like, so what ends up happening is like, it's all psychological because we can't predict the future. We can't predict our outcomes. And one of the things I say to young hitters all the time is like, you can take as many swings as you want this winter, but 0 for 4 is still waiting for you on opening day. Like, you can take the most swings out of anyone, and that game, that opening day, don't care. Like, that guy goes and makes his pitches, you go 0 for 4. How are you going to handle that, right? And the biggest difference, I would say, between the older player who didn't have reliance on swing mechanics stuff, technology, video, data, they just they had to be more feel guys. They had to go with the flow. They had to roll with the punches. That's not to say that they didn't prepare to an extent that guys do now, but like in today's day and age, like, oh, I need the weight room. Oh, I need the crowd chamber. Oh, I need the hot tub. Oh, I need the cold tub. I need my nutritionist. I need my dry needling. I need this. I need that. So like you end up building this sequence of things that make you like become part of your normal, right? And when they become part of your normal, you rely on those things, and relying on anything at any given point in time, it's like a drug, right? Like that's what addiction is. Like that's, if you have to rely on anything besides the clarity of your brain and your own ability to like make adjustments, you're screwed in baseball. You are screwed. And that's why I'm the least surprised I've ever been that JD Martinez had a bad year last year, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because if there was a guy that was a candidate to have a bad year, and now mind you, the team changed, the season changed, no video, new coaches, like literally everything changed. So it was like this massive, I don't know what to do with myself. Like, and you're asking a lot out of any human being when you do that to somebody, but if at the end of the day, if it's you and hit and that's it, like that's why I tell people, like, it's great to build routines. It's great to build normals. It's great to have things that you do to prepare psychologically, but what are you going to do when your normal doesn't exist for you? Like everybody that goes in the cage and hits, like guys that go in the cage 6 hours before the game or 5 hours before the game, and they go in, they take BP and they go in after BP. And I say, what happens when you play a 12 o'clock game? Are you going to get to the field at 6 a.m.? Or is it more important to get to sleep? So this is, again, why the brain is the most important tool, because whatever you rationalize in your head that you need to do to get ready to play is what you need to do to get ready to play. And if you build in the crutch saying that I don't have the thing that I needed to play, then you're already done. Yeah,
and we've heard stories about that from college pitching coaches with driveline type stuff. And this isn't a knock on driveline. It's just some of the kids are like, oh, I can't go into the game until I get my plyo work in. I just can't pitch. I'm not going to be successful. And they psych themselves out before they even get a chance to get on the mound. It's crazy.
Yeah.
There's a book. It's The Mental Game of Tennis. Very simple, awesome book for any coaches out there. If you've never heard of it, get it. It is called Inner Game of Tennis. Fantastic book. Like, in terms of coaching strategy and individual player development, it's phenomenal, like a must read. One of the themes in that book is when they talk about high level performers, the way that they work is different than non-high level performers. Like talked about, I think it was Roger Federer, where he will go out and he doesn't need to go hit balls for 2 hours. He goes out and finds his rhythm, feels what he needs to feel, and then he can stop. He's not chasing something every single day because he's established what he needs to do, So that mindset and that preparation, getting to that level where it's like, I don't need 500 swings. I need 20. And regardless of how they go, I know where I'm at for that day. That's my barometer. I'm like, I know where I am.
I love that phrase, find your rhythm. And it's just like, you have to have small, like little simple things to rely on. You have to have defaults to go to because the circumstances are likely to change on any given day. You get a rain delay, you get this, you get that. Man, like the world tries to throw curveballs at you all the time. You got to be able to be adjustable if you want to be great. That's my biggest takeaway, or my biggest point to make there.
Absolutely. All right. Post show. Auburn beat Alabama A&M by the score of 33-0. 33-0 in a baseball game. I have the box score. I want to go through a lot of crooked numbers here. So it was 0-0 going into the third. Auburn, the home team, scored 5. Then they scored 14. Then they scored 4. Then they scored 5. Then they scored 4. Then they scored 1.
My favorite part is Alabama A&M only made 1 error.
Only 1 error. But I want to go in anatomy of a 15-run inning. Or 14-run inning. Ready? Hit by pitch. Walk. Hit by pitch. Walk. Double. Ground ball out. Single. Walk. Walk. Single. Fly out. Double, single, double, double, homer. Fly out. Happens quick. 14 runs on 8 hits. 14 runs on 8 hits. That's a lot of gifts. That's a lot of I'm going to put the first 4 guys on without a ball being in play. That's painful. That's painful. There was a tweet that said, ever heard of sportsmanship? And sportsmanship was all caps. And then I replied to it that said, ever heard of pitching, in all caps, as a joke? And then the guy was like, was that supposed to be funny? And then I said, yes, it was supposed to be funny. So the thing, like the total, they scored 33 runs on 27 hits. If they're like stealing bases up by 18, that's pretty bad. Like we don't want to do that.
Let's bear in mind they beat them 18-2 the day before. So this wasn't like, I mean, this is like David versus Goliath, guys. I mean, we're talking about two teams that shouldn't be on the same field with one another.
Yeah. So the guy did score. He stole second, but it was 5-0. Like the first guy that got hit by a pitch stole second. But after that, I think it's more insulting when you stop playing the game. So whenever I coached at like the younger levels, we would always advance a base on a wild pitch, but I would stop him at third. I wouldn't let him score because I just wanted like the other team to have an opportunity to make an out. I wanted to force a batted ball to score a run. But if it's like a wild pitch and you keep a runner on first, you just stop playing.
Like there's no right way to do this. Like people that are complaining about sportsmanship, like you got play, you still compete. If you're a hitter, you still want to get hits and you still want to, you're creating stats. Like the whole premise of the game is to compete and win. And I mean, look, you can see stuff like this in college baseball more often than you can anywhere else because I think there's just more opportunity for, I don't know, discrepancy, like just separation between one team and another. And I think that is the case here, right? You get outscored 51-2 in 2 days. You're probably not supposed to be on the same field with the other team. And it's nice that they played them and stuff, but look, the thing that I was really interesting about what you said is the inning started with hit by pitch, walk, hit by pitch, walk. So the only way innings like that usually happen is if there's an abundance of free bases given away, whether it's walks, hit by pitches.
It's hard to get 8. It's hard to get 8 hits in an inning.
Yeah. The funny thing is like, it's easier to get 8 hits when you have second and third, nobody out, when you have bases loaded, nobody out, and you're getting into situations where all the pressure's on the defense and the offense is in the driver's seat. So, I mean, I'm not surprised that it started hit by pitch, walk, because now, and especially in college baseball, we talk about this all the time. Like the team that has the ability to minimize damage the best is usually going to win. And I usually call it pooping down your leg. If you poop down your leg the least in college baseball, you got a pretty good chance to win. I think we should
make shirts.
Yeah.
Just don't poop down your leg. I think that's a good shirt.
No, poop down your leg the least. Poop down your leg the least, because everybody poops down their leg, Bobby. We all do it at some point, right? We were all babies. We all poop down our leg.
True. It's amazing though when you go to college games and it's just like whoever poops down the leg the least wins the game.
It's just you got to not let the wheels fall off because this is the emotion of baseball. Like the game gets emotional in certain moments because, again, it's a slow-moving game. There's not a whole lot of intensity with nobody on and nobody out, no count. And then all of a sudden, that could turn into second and third, nobody out, and now you're like, oh my God. Like, it's harder to create those situations, those feelings in a basketball game, in a football game, and they don't sneak up on you. You know what I mean? Like, they don't just show up. Like in basketball, you're up and down the floor. You're always in the flow of the game. So you feel that big moment at the end because the game's close and it's going to get there, so you're preparing for it. Where in baseball, like, they're just hard to come by unless you're playing in an elimination game or a winner-take-all game or whatever. You don't feel that from the first pitch. You know what I'm saying? So the emotional swings in baseball are what allow that stuff to kind of get out of control.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's no clock to save you in baseball. You just got to wear it. When I was coaching younger teams, I would just scream, play the batter. Just don't forget about the runners. Like if they give you an out, but just get the guy that's hitting right now. Don't worry about everybody else. Don't panic. Just get one out at a time. Put one wheel back on at a time. Don't try to do everything at once. Play the batter. Play the batter. Play the batter.
How about not even play the batter? How about play the pitch? Like play this pitch. Independent of anything else that happens. Like go win a pitch.
Yeah. Just
win the pitch.
And then win the next one.
I tell people this all the time. It's too easy to be good, isn't it? It's too simple to be good. People want it to be harder. They want it to be hard. Like they're trying to make it harder on themselves. Like it's a simple game, guys. Like we can't think about the third pitch if we haven't made the first one yet. So I don't know, man.
Yeah. So the follow-up question is, what's the worst loss you ever had?
In college, I had a lot of bad ones. Like we weren't good. So
you wasn't good at baseball?
Yeah. I mean, I could go through some box scores. I
have a box score prepared. I have a good story for mine.
I've definitely lost by 20. I mean, it's pretty. And professional baseball, I'm not really sure. I'm gonna go look at assumption. You tell your story.
All right, my first collegiate game was against the University of Maryland, March 8th, 2002. I have the box score right here. March 8th, 2002, we got on a bus. We drove down from Vermont. So we're going from the Arctic of Vermont, practicing on a gym floor, to the University of Maryland, which, being a kid from New Hampshire, is a little intimidating. Maryland is like a big name school in my eyes. ACC baseball. This is it's
the Big Ten now. By the way.
It was at the time ACC.
I know. I was just trying to throw that in there.
Like Maryland basketball was really good at the time. It was like Maryland is oh, that's a big deal. We gave up 9 in the first, 4 in the second, 9 in the third. We're down 22-0, 3 games into my college career. And I'm going, what did I get myself into? What is are they going to stop scoring runs? What? Because this is our first game of the year. We threw our ace. He didn't make it out of the first inning.
Yeah.
Then we brought in a kid just to mop it up. The kid who was a freshman, he went 2 innings, 9 hits, 11 runs scored. And I'm like, oh my God, these are 2 of our better arms, and we just got rocked. Yeah. We got to play these guys 2 more times this weekend. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
We ended up losing 23-6 that game.
The good thing is they reset the score to 0-0 after the game's over.
Yeah.
You know what's hysterical? I'm going to tell you something funny. In college, we went 9-33 my freshman year, and we won 2 games. One of them we won 21-4, and the other one we won 22-2. And we only won 9 games that year.
You should have saved some of those runs.
Yeah, you think? It's crazy.
Yeah, we went 27-2 and 27-22 that year. We were second in our conference. We were a pretty good team, but we lost. The first 3 innings were.
We lost the game 21-4. I got here. In that series, we lost. I think we lost all 4. We lost 14-3, 21-4, 4-2, and 16-7. So that wasn't it. But and then we beat Franklin Pierce, who was one of the better teams, 22-2. We lost 16-7 to AIC. The St. Rose series at the end was really funny. We lost 18-4. We lost 22-14. We won 16-15, and then we lost 15-7. So go figure. That was a fun weekend.
That's all one weekend?
Yeah, it was a fun weekend. It was a fun weekend.
Oh, Patrick, what was the score of the game?
We lost 26-24.
26-24 in a baseball game.
Did you ever have a team ERA?
A 50-run game.
Did you ever have a team ERA?
That's a lot of 50 runs in one game. I need to know what's the highest scoring MLB game.
The box score in that game was absurd because there were multiple swings back and forth.
Highest scoring MLB game, 49 runs. You guys have the record potentially.
Who? Us?
August 25th, 1922, the Cubs defeated the Phillies 26-23. That's the highest scoring MLB game ever.
I thought you were talking about the Blue Jays.
No.
Hey, is a team ERA of 9.63 good?
No, it's really bad.
Yeah, that was our team ERA my freshman year. Now, bear in mind, our opponents had a team ERA of 6.95, and we were 9.33. Like if you hit 329 as a team with 50 homers in 42 games and 287 runs scored, like you should probably have a good year.
And you were 9 and what?
33.
That's.
Hey, that ain't it.
That ain't it.
Ever heard of pitching?
Yeah, pitching. Ever heard of it? Sorry to all your former teammates. I'm trying to find the most runs scored. It's like a big long article. I just want the bullet points. It looks like 25-1 was the most runs scored, and like 26 runs can't be the most runs scored in a game in all minor league baseball history. Okay, I'll find it. 51 run marathon.
When you showed me that 33-0 and you said it was Auburn and Alabama A&M, I thought it was a football score. I thought they just started playing football.
The Lake Elsinore Storm won 33-18. I don't know if this is a minor league game or not. High Desert Mavericks, is that affiliated baseball?
Yeah, High Desert's in the Cal League. If that's still a thing anymore.
The California Penal League. It's probably gonna be like the Geico League soon. They're just gonna sell off all the rights.
Yeah.
There's a 55-run game between St. Paul and Kansas City in the Western League.
Good stat day.
That was in 1896. That's a long time ago.
Good stat days.
So we'll look into this. Comment your wildest loss you've ever had below. How's that for a prompt?
Comment your worst single game at the plate and your best single game at the plate. I've played 2 20-inning games. The first one I was 0 for 8. The next one I was 0 for 7 to start the game. And in the 19th, I hit.
You were 0 for 15 in a doubleheader going to your last at bat?
No, it wasn't a doubleheader. They weren't the same day. One of them was in 2008. One of them was in 2013.
Oh.
And those are my 2 best years statistically. Literally. 2 of them. 2011's mixed in there. 2008, I hit 336 with 16 homers. I took a 0 for 8 in a game. And then 2013, when I was in AAA, when I won the MVP, I hit 354 with 24 homers in 89 games or something. And I was 0 for 7 in Toledo going into my last at bat. And it was the 19th, so we played 19 innings, and I hit a homer. That's a way to feel better. I grabbed RC's bat. I was like, I don't even care anymore. The dudes next to on deck circle were making fun of me. And I was like, hey, man, I make fun of myself right now, too. And then I hit a bomb, and I was like, oh. See how the story ended with me hitting a homer?
Always does. Always does.
Good times.
All right. I think that wraps it up for us. Like, comment, share, hit the bell, blah, blah, blah. All that crap. Algorithms. Anything else?
I don't even know what you just said.
It's like a YouTube thing. People say when they sign off, they're like, oh, it really means a lot if you could subscribe and like.
I don't know why you said the algorithms thing at the end, though.
Because it's all the algorithm.
Oh.
It's all about the algorithm.
Okay.
All right. That's it. Pickle out. You're supposed to say it. You always say it.